everyone! So today I'm going to be talking about my organisation and time management tips for students. Because I'm a student and I'm kind of organised, maybe, I think, hopefully. Yeah, today I'm just going to talk about what I do to stay organised at uni. And it works for me. Like, I managed to fit in all my academic work, making YouTube videos, social activities, rowing, so society stuff. I managed to fit it all in using these organisation time management techniques. So, you know, I've tried them, I've tested them, I can guarantee you they work. So university is really full on. There is a lot to be doing and to fit into the day. Everyone's always like, you can choose 2 out of academic work, social life and sleep, and you can't have all 3. But I'm here to tell you that it's possible to have all 3. Keep on watching and yeah, hopefully this video is useful. Okay, first big thing is to keep a calendar diary. I jot down any events that I'm supposed to be going to, lectures, supervisions, rowing outings, family visits, people's birthdays, exam dates, fun times, meetings with academics, appointments, and deadlines as well for work. All goes in the diary. I make sure I look at it every day, I use it every day, I carry it around everywhere with me. So that's why I like a nice small one, a nice light one, because it literally stays in my bag wherever I go. Now, I know a lot of people actually do this on their phones these days, so if you're more tech savvy, just use the calendar app on your phone, I guess, and you can put it all on there. But for me personally, I like to write it down the old-fashioned way. I am not a forgetful person, but I would have to be superhuman to remember everything I've got on without a diary. I don't understand how people think they can just remember things. Everyone always goes, oh, I don't need to write down that deadline. I'm going to remember that deadline that my supervisor gave me. And then a few days later, who are they messaging to ask for the deadline and for the set work? Me. Even like what the work is, jot down every detail of the work you're set. A lot of people always message me like, what did our supervisor ask again? Did they ask for the first 5 questions or for the first 10 questions? I'm like, why didn't you write it down? Look at me throwing shade today. No offense to any of these people. I just don't understand how people don't write things down. I don't understand. Here's a week from March from this year. It was quite a busy week, as you can see, but I just like my calendar with like a week to view on a double page. Look, I've written I need to hand in my Phys B work. I've written where I've got examples classes. I've written where I've got an interview, crew dinner, supervisions, bumps, that's a set of rowing races. This is just kind of my life in a book. So yeah, make sure you make notes of any deadlines and work set. It sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised at the number of people who don't. Okay, next thing I'd recommend is knowing your timetable inside out and just getting into a routine every week. When I say routine, I don't just mean all your academic lectures and whatnot, because hopefully you are going to be going to those at the same time each week, but also your meal times, your bedtimes, when do you do your laundry each week? You want a consistent routine that you follow each week. When you've repeated something enough times, it sticks. And it will make sure you don't forget important things. I'm not saying stick to whatever you do in the first week and you must do the same thing forevermore and never stray from it. I'm saying once you find a routine that works, why change? Set yourself a goal of how many hours you want to work for each day. Everyone always asks me how many hours do I work, how many hours do I need to work to get top grades? I don't have the magic answer for you. It's going to vary from person to person. The number of hours you need to put in is going to depend on what course you're studying, how easy is it for you to pick things up quickly, like how naturally talented are you at the course. I'd say personally for a normal week I'd want to be working between 6 and 8 hours a day. But yeah, choose your number of hours you want to work for each day, set that as your goal and try and stick to it. You can download apps like Forest, or I use Flora, which is the free version, and using these apps you can set timers on your phone and it looks you at your phone, and you can also time how long you've been studying for. But also in general, setting a timer so you can really keep track of how many hours you're working each day is really helpful. Now, if you've watched even a few of my videos before, you'll know I'm a big fan of to-do lists. You can either make a to-do list on paper, so I like to get these pads, like they look pretty. I get mine from PaigeY. Wilko is a cheap option, or even just use a standard post-it note or pad of paper and list the stuff you've got to do each day. Or you can use your phone. I actually quite like using the Notes app on iPhone a lot, or I'm sure there's equivalent on Android phones. And in particular, I make my to-do lists the night before the day that I want to do them. Before I go to bed each night, I normally like to sit down and think, what do I need to get done tomorrow? And then it makes it easy because I wake up in the morning, have a quick glance at my to-do list, and I'm like, right, that's what I'm doing today. The day is set up for me. When making my to-do lists, I also want to be as realistic as possible, but I also want to challenge myself. So, you know, there's a balance, isn't there? I write down enough stuff to keep myself busy, but not so much that I just won't get it all done. The aim for me is to actually complete everything on my to-do list rather than write a too long to-do list that I don't complete, because then what's the point of having the list anyway? I think finding that balance maybe takes time and experience, so monitor how much you get done each day and eventually you will get to know what's a realistic amount of work for you to get done each day. Another good tip is to add times to your to-do list. I think it's easier to tell whether individual tasks are doable in an hour compared to a whole lump of tasks. Is that doable in 8 hours? It's harder to tell. And it maybe goes without saying that when making your to-do list, you need to prioritise. And prioritising is quite easy to do. You just look at your tasks and think, when's my nearest deadline? What essentially needs to be done first, and you schedule that as one of your first activities. Look through your tasks and think, what is most important to me to get done? And schedule your breaks in as well. Don't just schedule your academic work. Make sure you're scheduling in your social time with friends, and also be aware of the chunks of time that you've already got set aside for things like lectures and societies and clubs, which don't change every week. Make sure you're fitting stuff in around them. I would recommend setting lots of alarms if you have an important thing you need to be up for in the morning. I would recommend setting lots of reminders for yourself for any important task. Pin up notices if you have a pin board. Find somewhere where you can put a note to yourself to remind yourself to do stuff. Leave post-it notes around your room. Ask friends to remind you if you have important tasks, because you don't want to be forgetting the most important things in your day. For example, if you have an exam or a mock exam, you probably don't want to miss that, so make sure you don't miss it. Set so many reminders for yourself that you couldn't possibly forget it. I don't know, sometimes there are high priority tasks that you don't want to forget. Go to all lengths to make sure you don't. Give it a massive star in your diary. I like to set time aside for my admin tasks each day. It might only take me 10-15 minutes just to check my emails, reply to any if necessary, and file away all my papers from the day. If you don't set this time aside for admin tasks each day, it just builds and builds and builds until it's a massive mammoth task that you have to do at the weekend, and it's just not worth getting to that point. Take it from me, I have experience. I think a key thing that keeps me organised in my studies is how I file all my lecture notes and my supervision work. My particular system is that I keep plastic folders in my bag, and I have one for each module that I'm taking at all times in my bag with the current work for that module in it. So it would be the current set of lecture notes that I was working on and the current problem set I'd been set for supervisions. And then for each module I also had a lever arch file. These can fit a lot of papers in. This is actually one of my old A-level ones, but I use these at university all the time. And all the past lecture notes for my modules go into my lever arch files. So yeah, in my filing session, typically I'm taking stuff out of here that I no longer need day to day, hole punching it, putting it in my lever arch file. And then I also like to use stickers as my coding system for when a piece of work is fully complete. So I'll stick a sticker in the top right hand corner if it's perfectly done, ticks all round, no more work to do on it. But if a piece of work doesn't have the sticker, I know that I need to review it and come back to it. Another thing I do in the evenings is pack my bag the night before for the next day. It is way too easy to forget lecture notes or a pen. Often what I need in my university bag doesn't change too much from day to day, so I like to mostly keep it untouched, but it's normally a case of swapping over folders, packing my stuff up from my desk and putting it back in my bag, because normally I'll be doing work in the evening and I need to get it back into my bag to take over to the library when I'm going to lectures. I struggle to get up in the mornings, and I normally sleep in for as long as I can possibly get away with. I leave no time to actually review what's in my bag. I literally just sling it over my shoulder and hope for the best that I've got everything. So yeah, pack it the night before, kids. And also, I say this quite a lot, but don't leave assignments till the day before they're due. Yes, I have done this in the past. Don't follow my example, it's a bad idea. It can cause a lot of stress. It leaves you tempted to stay up really, really late to get work done. If you just set yourself your own fake deadline, like 2 days before it's due, it allows time for stuff to go wrong with the assignment. For example, say my maths work is due on Friday. I'm going to pretend that it's due on Thursday so that by Wednesday evening, I'm pretty much finishing it. And if it does come to Wednesday evening and I'm like, this maths assignment was impossible, I can't do it, I then have an extra day to seek the help I need before I actually need to submit it. Otherwise, it's all just leaving it a bit too late. Okay, and that's it. I hope I was somewhat coherent in this video. I feel like I was just blurting everything I do at you guys, but yeah, that's how I stay as organised as possible. I think the key things are keep a diary, write to-do lists. That's it for today's video. Hope it's been helpful. Comment down below if you have your own tips for time management and organisation, because I'd love to hear them personally. I'm sure other people in the comments will love reading them because a lot of us are students here, so help everyone out. Comment down below your tips. And I just want to jump in and say a massive thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. It's an online learning community for creators. There's thousands of classes on there in so many different areas: productivity, design, business. Whether you just want to learn a new skill as a hobby or further your career, there's so much on Skillshare, and it's such an easy way to just keep yourself thinking and learning. Most recently, I've been doing a course on iPhone photo editing, and it's so cool how much you can do with just your phone. You don't need any fancy equipment. This course has all the tips and tricks you need. And the teacher of this particular class is a professional travel and lifestyle photographer, so they know exactly what they're talking about. And yeah, you can get premium memberships, which give you unlimited access to all the classes and communities. Skillshare is actually giving away a free unlimited access trial to my subscribers who click the link in the description box below. And after that, it's only around $10 per month. So yeah, head to the link in the description to find out more. Skillshare's online classes really are a great way to make 2020 that year where you explore some new skills, deepen some existing passions, and just get lost in creativity. So thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and we'll head back to Paige in the studio. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I make lots of university content. Hit the notification bell, then you know when I upload. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Follow me over on my Instagram. I'll see you soon with another video, guys. Bye bye.